Hello, we are on another edition of Forum Marco Bible Fellowship's Forum on Fellowship, F4F. And today we are talking to Sister Carol Hart. Sister Carol is the director of our ESL, English as a Second Language ministry, which actually had to go virtual this year due to COVID. But in addition to that, there was something else that the Lord did. I'm guessing maybe unexpectedly, she can explain. Um, During COVID with our ESL students and some in the community. So, Sister Carol, um, what can you describe a little bit what happened this year in addition to ESL going virtual?
Okay, so shortly after we went virtual in March, April, whenever we went virtual, you know, one of the things that, Christine and I would talk about is, are there any needs in our ESL family in terms of food and stuff like that? And I'm not sure if I was talking to, and I'm going to say Pat Smith, but either way, Pat offered to give us food from her sister's church had a food program going, and so it started up with us getting like canned goods and tuna and cereals and stuff like that. And so my thing is yes. So we would send out emails to our students and to see who if anybody's interested, and we got some takers, and so that's how it started. It has grown into something much more amazing, and nothing that I had planned. So I'm assuming and give God the glory because it must have been His plan for us to do kind of what we did. So we've been since about maybe April, on and off, more consistently in the last 3 months. We have been feeding some of our ESL families, providing food for some of our families.
Now you said it became something much more amazing. What do you mean by that?
Well, first of all, okay, so after Pat was getting me some stuff in the early days, she then asked me, she said there's a pallet of food that was going to her sister's church and they were no longer doing the ministry and they were going to send it back. Could I use it?
Okay.
Well, the question is, where were we going to put a pallet of food? A pallet of food is a lot of food.
Right.
So that's when I went to Tony and said, Tony, I know that there's no fresh bread right now. Can we get that room? And I got permission. And so a pallet of food, and I have to admit, Pastor Tony has been amazing because he's been the one, especially in the early days, just he unpacked that whole, he went with Pat and to the church, they packed up the car, packed up Pat's car, and brought on a pallet of food and unloaded everything. And I was just amazed when I saw it. So first of all, the provision just got bigger than we ever imagined. And that particular pallet of food also included like bananas and apples, if I remember correctly. We also got like some fruits and vegetables. And so we started off with an amazing, the pantry was full. And so, I know Marco people were bringing in, but like there's just an abundance of goods. So that's one way. It did get bigger than that also. I don't know if you want me to just continue talking, Linda.
Sure, yeah.
So after that, we started to, we were giving out for a while and then started to kind of get low. I would pick up some items sometimes. But one of my ESL teachers from another church also gave me a donation of $100. So I was able to go shopping and continue a little bit. And then at one of my ESL staff meetings, I kind of shared with my teachers that, I was running low, the pantry, it was a lot of stuff, but we were giving out and it was moving. And so I was hooked up with New Life Drescher, a lady named Diane, who was doing a food program. And we started getting amazing items, including meats and all kinds of amazing things, fresh fruits and vegetables. Apart from that, Linda, you also directed me once to this place in Oaks, and Pastor Tony and I drove down there and told them, when I signed up, opened up our trunk, we're an organization that had packed in like boxes of fruits and vegetables and fresh milk and yogurt and cheeses and just, we packed up and so we were able to give those out as well. So it's been starting, I think, a little before December, Diane told me that they were extending this program till March. So since then, every single week, we have been giving students a big box of fruits and been extremely grateful. And the fact that they come back every week, because they come back every week, says that there is a need. Right. So God has exceeded anything. First of all, I never imagined it.
Yeah.
But He did.
Yeah.
He planned it. Yeah. It was a pleasure. It was a lot of work. I'm not gonna lie. Packing and sorting, and sometimes having to throw away bad things. But it was such a pleasure when I met with the students to be able to say, "Come get your boxes," and they were so grateful. So yes, so it became a lot bigger than I would have ever imagined. Oh, and then also somebody at another time when things were a little slow gave me $400.
Wow.
And so that's a provision from God, obviously. Yeah. And so I was able to purchase more items and,
What was the burden for you to do it, or why did you think this was important for you to take on, church? Why did you think it was important?
Well, one of the things that I had been doing a little bit earlier was there was a gentleman who had lost his job. And one of the things we found out is that, some of our students, they're undocumented from the sense that they're not, legal in the they're not, what is the word? They don't have green cards, but they're working and they're paying taxes.
Right.
But they're not eligible. They don't receive the stimulus. So I had a particular student, and I'm sure there were others who were, trying to figure out how to make it. And I was meeting with a gentleman actually on a regular basis. Well, whenever he needed me, I would meet with him because we're trying to fill out applications for jobs. But even before that, just knowing that, the truth is a lot of people had lost their jobs. And here where we got it allowed us to connect with this particular community and were their needs, So when we sent out, we got responses. And my thing is, God, if you provide, and He did, then I'm going to do. And so it was really about meeting needs. And actually, in a way, kind of, because when they, I said, listen, guys, this is God. I tell them, we're loving and blessing you because because God has made a way. And He has, and as I said, they've been very grateful.
And then also, why do you think it's important for the church and specifically maybe even Monco Bible Fellowship to do this kind of outreach? Because for example, be like, well, how can people find out about Jesus through us doing something like this? Or through you?
Well, when G-Ling came, usually G-Ling and his wife Anna would come and pick up food. And one time they brought their young adult daughter with them, and she wanted to know why we're doing this. Obviously, I told her, what, because we love you, because Jesus has loved us, because we want to bless you. We don't always have to take the Bible and beat somebody on the head. One of the things I love about Jesus when I look in the New Testament is how He blessed people, and even people who didn't follow Him. He fed 5,000 people, and probably a lot of those people were at the cross saying, crucify Him. Expressing your love for people, the love of God for people, is a surefire way of opening up the door to share Jesus. We don't want to beat them, but if somebody wants to know why, and sometimes and the thing is, the Bible talks about seed. When we plant seeds, we don't know what else. It might not be us, but we plant seeds that say this is what people who love Jesus do. We bless people who are in need. We meet needs because we love you, because we've been loved and Jesus loves you. And we don't know what happens after, somewhere down the road, what God does with that seed that has been planted. So I think it's really important that we are out in our communities as much as possible, and that we invite them in, obviously, but that we love them. that we love them. And loving is action. Okay, it's not just what we say with our mouth, it's what we do. And one of the best ways to love somebody is to meet them where there is a need, because that's what Jesus did for us. So, I didn't know you were going to ask me that question, Linda. You should have told me I could have prepared. Better answer.
No, I wanted a spontaneous answer. Okay, all right. Well, those were because some of the other things, the questions I had, you already covered. So those were the main questions I had. Was there anything else you wanted to add about?
The only thing I want to add is I just want to read a list of some of the items that they've gotten. Seriously, it's been, so what I'm saying is when God provides, he's not skimpy. And Linda, there have been times when we've had an excess and we've had to give it to people in the church as well. Okay, right? We've packed up boxes. In fact, Linda, I don't know if you have the picture where our neighbor who lives beside us, who don't come to ESL, we were packing up food for her. There's a box. Tony would take a box over to her. One time, actually, Cleveland Grady helped me take a box downstairs for her. But bananas, apples, oranges, strawberries, blueberries, peaches, grapes, mangoes, lemons, lettuce, kale, tomatoes, cucumbers, zucchini, spinach, eggplant, potatoes, sweet potatoes, red peppers, green peppers, garlic, onions, scallions, ginger, celery, cabbage, cauliflower, carrot, jalapenos, avocados, chicken, salmon, tilapia, ground beef stew, oxtails, bacon. We give them chipotle steaks, wawa sandwiches, eggs, cheddar cheese, boxed milk, cereals, oatmeal, rice, raisins, dried beans, tuna, peanut butter jelly, fruit cups, canned fruits, canned vegetables, mac and cheese, canned goods, cooking oils, breads, tortillas, cookies, cakes, toilet paper, paper towels, hand sanitizer, bath soaps, socks, school supplies. And one time, Harriet even gave me these slap little wrist things for the kids. And I'm sure I've forgotten some because I was just trying to remember everything today. Right. God blessed us in the most amazing, in such an abundant way, but he's a God of abundance. Right. So I just wanted to read the list because I think, people don't understand what we're giving away, and what God provided for our students. So that's it. Yes, it's been a pleasure. I'm going to miss seeing them, and let's see what God does as we move forward.
Last answer.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you very much for sharing what you've been doing.
What God's been doing, yes.
And what God's been doing.
Both.
Yes. And what God's been doing through you through this. So. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Linda.
And thank you for doing that. Thank you.
Okay. Well, thanks for sharing this with everybody, because I think it's good to see what that God is still working.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay. Bye.